January 1st will be 17 years.
That's cool. I mean, first of all, congratulations. Or I'm sorry, whichever one.
Yeah. Oh, see, like this funky shit I like this character, you know, you can tell it's handmade, but not always perfect.
Today we're at Square Deli in Everett, Massachusetts with Chris, and he's going to show us around his establishment. He's going to show us his sourdough pizza, the process, why he chose to make sourdough pizza, and why it all started back in 2020. What happened that made him start sourdough pizza? And what would he do differently if he was starting Square Deli all over again today? If you are visiting the Boston area after watching this video, you're going to want to make a stop at Square Deli in Everett, Massachusetts. I promise you that. And if you do, tell Chris you saw this Pizzeria Insider video and it made you want to stop in. Let's get to the episode right now.
How long have you been making pizza for here?
I'd say probably almost 5 years now, maybe 4.
And before you made pizza here, was there pizza here or was there no pizza at all?
Yeah, we used to do just trays of Sicilian, and we used to offer them, by slice while people were waiting for their sandwiches.
It's almost like deli style?
Yeah. So like growing up around here, Sicilian's really common in sheet pans like this, kind of like bakery style. But we didn't make our dough when we were doing that. We would just buy a bread dough from Panadosi, and it was really good. But we didn't have a pizza oven, so we would bake it in a convection oven. And this style of pizza is really like common in the Northeast. You'll see this in a lot of sandwich shops, and you can get them for like catering orders, or you can just grab a slice, a square while you're waiting for your sandwich. So yeah, no, that we never really did a full service pizza operation.
Then you do pizza up here, subs back there.
Yep, cold sandwiches, pizza in the front, hot sandwiches from the kitchen. We do a lot of prep work downstairs. We have a large walk-in downstairs that we do prep work inside.
I saw the dough down there. I was stuck down there when Cool was doing some prep. I got the dough down there.
Yeah, we start the process of the dough usually in the basement. We like to get things going in the basement. We hand mix.
You make everything by hand here, right? Like everything's homemade, which is time consuming.
Pretty much, yeah. We cook from scratch, yeah. The pizza dough we mix by hand. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that, we bring in, like we bring in pizza cheese. We're not making our own mozzarella, but we do the things like we feel like it's really important to do homemade. We make our own cutlets, our own meatballs, our own sauce.
Do you hand mix the dough? What do you think the capacity of the hand mixed dough would be? Like, at what point do you think you couldn't do that anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I think once you get up to maybe over a couple hundred pizzas a day, but if you got people who are willing to do it, as long as you have staff willing to do it, once you start getting up to like 200-300 pizzas a day, the hand mixing might be an issue.
That's a lot of hand mixing, a lot of stretch and folds.
Each batch we do does somewhere around like 20, 22 pizzas, so if we're mixing 3-4 batches a day, it's not that bad. The initial process, there's some mixing going on, but, once you get that out of the way, it's just stretch and folds, over the period of a few hours. So, which really isn't that bad, No, you don't know.
I think was here bread guy, right?
Executive chef. Yeah, he runs Mike and Patty's and Hot Box Pizza.
Oh, Hot Box Pizza, yeah. So why did you decide to do like a sourdough pizza and not use yeast or anything like that?
I mean, we definitely wanted to do something different. We feel like around here especially, everybody's pizza kind of tastes the same. There was really nothing that stood out.
How did you come up with how did you learn how to do that?
So it was actually a good friend of mine who was making sourdough pizza at home during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
But he's a barber. He owns a couple barber shops, and we've always talked about, maybe doing some sort of pizza concept together. It was during the pandemic, and we're like, it. Things were a weird few years, and we didn't know what we were gonna do. So we're like, yeah, let's put it in the pizza oven and give it a shot. So it was originally his sourdough recipe, and we've tweaked it a little bit over time. But yeah, he was doing it at home.
So back then, before COVID, you were more of a deli, right?
Yeah, more sandwiches, a lot of catering. During the pandemic, we started to do a lot of large-scale catering for the city and the state. But again, it was just like unsure times, and we just wanted to, take whatever we could get. So we were doing these large jobs. We really weren't open for service consistently because of shutdowns and stuff like that. Once things started to calm down a little bit is when we put the pizza oven in. Yeah, and we just ran with it, and it was definitely a great add to what we were already doing here.
What do you like doing better, pizza or sandwich?
Definitely pizza.
that was a trick question. That you use the whole thing, so some people dump half of it out.
Yeah, I'll discard it sometimes. Like there's still a little left in here that we'll just toss, but
for the most part, you're just doing a whole new start, like adding to it every time, not throwing any out.
Pretty much. I throw it out when I feel like some should be thrown out. Yeah, I think people get hung up on the starter too much. We start like with the weight as a baseline, and then but we do a lot of it by eye too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So if it's too loose, then I'm adjusting it by adding a little bit more flour. But I mean, she would know more than me, like with all the baking and stuff, how everybody's like one part. But so like right now, we're gonna like a baseline of like we're gonna do 4 pounds water, 4 pounds flour. I usually do like the flour first. So, but no, that's fine. Just go a little bit less. Go a little bit less than 4, and then do the 4 pounds flour, and then you probably won't even need more water because it'll be like the right consistency. I think I'm always a little bit less on the water than the flour.
Like it's stiffer, 'cause I
Yeah.
feel like it's
And then like I think like when it's too loose, you notice is too much water. It's it affects the hydration, and you notice it in the dough. But
All right, so you make the dough here at Square Deli?
I do, yeah. This is our starter.
This is great. How long have you been making dough for?
A month.
But here, but how long in general?
Like 3 years.
How long does this sit here for?
At least a few hours. The least amount of time, I would say like 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Most up to 12. It depends on how much you feed it. The more flour and water you put in, the longer it's going to take. So the less you do, the faster you can use it.
And then this is going to be incorporated into your batch of dough that you use to make pizza.
Yes.
So it goes from this sits for 4 to 5 hours probably today. You make the dough, and then how long does the dough sit there for?
We do like stretch and folds and then like kneading it and whatnot for at least 2 hours. And then we'll weigh it out and ball it up, and it's good for like a few days, 2 to 4 days, I'd say.
So you chose a PizzaMaster oven. Is there any reason why you chose this oven?
yeah, I mean, we went down to Connecticut to try a few different ovens. At the time, I think PizzaMaster was getting pretty popular, and we noticed, some of the better pizza shops in New York were using them. And then we tested them out, and we loved it. Electric kind of seems to be like the new wave with the ovens, and operationally for us, it just made more sense to add an electric oven rather than putting in new gas lines out, because we actually added the oven to the front of the store where there was no cooking equipment before. So that played into the equation too. But we loved the way it cooked, and then the ability to control the top heating element and the bottom heating element, and we were able to nice char coming from like a wood fire or coal fired oven. So yeah, I mean it worked out well for us.
It's in good shape too. You guys have this for 5 years now?
Yeah, and I think it was used before as well too.
That's in really good shape.
Yeah.
Sometimes these ovens, you pump out some pizzas here too, so it's not like you're not doing any pizzas.
Yeah.
So.
Got to clean at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Scrub the oven.
I've seen some that look a little like they look like they've been used quite a bit. This one looks pretty decent. This one looks almost brand new.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, it's been awesome for us. Yeah. And certainly the bottom needs a minute though.
You like them a little bit more well done, right?
Crispy, yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, that's well done. I think people go overboard with the well done thing. Like, we have customers who'll ask for the pizza well done, and we'll always say, more well done than we typically go. Are you sure? We go pretty crispy. But
You make it well done where it's cooked really good in the bottom, good texture, but it's not dry, right?
Not dry, yeah. And I mean, obviously, the higher hydration dough, and then the top of the pizza too, we want the top of the pizza to be wet. And I think a lot of these places that get into the well done pizza, unfortunately, the top ends up being super well done too, and you have a drier pizza. I think there's a balance that needs to be, accomplished.
Just cheese?
Yeah. I mean, my favorite pizza to eat, cheese.
Same. I think I'm a cheese guy too. What's the most popular pizza here? I mean, other than cheese or pepperoni?
Yeah, I would say cheese originally, but I guess we've kind of had a pizza go borderline viral, the Grandma Flo, when we had a food blogger from TikTok come in and he said it was the best pizza he's ever had. So that really took off. So we do homemade meatballs. We take them right from the sauce, break them up, put them on top of the pizza, and then we add regatta cheese post-bake. So that's been a really popular one, the last few months. But we try to keep it pretty simple, nothing too crazy. Not a huge fan of multiple toppings on a pizza.
I hear you. Yeah, sometimes you get people overcomplicate it, and then it's not easy to replicate the same way every time.
Yeah, consistency too, and just for like the pizza itself, like maintaining its structure. I think less is more when it comes to pizza. Yeah. Oh. See, like this funky shit, I like this character. You can tell it's handmade, not always perfect.
Doing this for a little bit, right? You've been here for how many years?
January 1st will be 17 years.
That's great. I mean, first of all, congratulations. Or I'm sorry, whichever one.
More than a third of my life.
Yeah, right.
Which it honestly feels like yesterday.
If you could start over, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently here?
Simplify more. Definitely start with full service pizza operation from the beginning. Pizza is just so loved by so many people. You know what I mean? It's a good avenue to go, and it can be profitable. If you're making a good product and you're keeping things tight, and it can be accomplished with less staff. As opposed to you know, doing a big sandwich menu. So yeah, if I was to do things over, simplify things a bit more, and you know, start with pizza from the jump.
What's the hardest part about running this place?
I mean, what's changing now is just the cost of everything. The margins are different, you know, and we're just like small mom and pop shop. So, you know, we don't sell alcohol, we don't do beer, wine. You know, when you do those things, you know, you have good margins on alcohol, and that can make up for some of the, you know, from the food costs, you know, in certain areas. So I'd say now, yeah, that's a challenge for sure. And then just like always finding a way to stay relevant or reinvent yourself. You know, we did sandwiches for, you know, 13, 14 years. And then we're like, what do we do now? You know, we're going into year 14, year 15. And that's kind of when we added, you know, the pizza. So that was kind of us reinventing ourselves, you know.
So you found out you like pizza, making more pizza than sandwiches, yeah. Did you ever think that when you first started this, that you'd make pizza?
No, because I never really made pizza anywhere. I've been cooking my whole life, but since I was 13, I had my first job in a restaurant, but I never made pizza, you know, until here. You know, I wish I came across it sooner for sure. We like to think that we're at least a little bit responsible for this new, you know, pizza wave in Massachusetts. You know, I think pizza in Massachusetts used to get a bad rep, but, you know, shortly after we started getting things going, we started to notice, you know, other great pizza in Massachusetts start to pop up, like Pizza Project,
Yeah.
Blue Square Pizza, and Garlic Breath Pizza. I mean, these pizzas are as good as any of the best pizzas in New York City. So, I mean, I don't think you can say, you know, Massachusetts is no longer, you know, a pizza town. And, you know, I think, you know, I'm proud to say, like, we were at least, you know, at the beginning of that, you know, and I think pizza community in Massachusetts is strong now, and I love, you know, seeing places like that do great things, and I watch what they do closely and, you know, take ideas from them, and, you know, hopefully, you know, people do that with us too.
But thanks for letting me come in here. I
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
it.
Anytime, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching this Pizzeria Insider episode with Chris from Square Deli in Everett, Massachusetts. If you want to check out what they're doing, we will link them in the description below this video, their Instagram and their website. And again, if you are visiting Boston for any reason, make sure you stop into Everett. Visit Chris at Square Deli, grab a pizza, grab a sandwich. They're doing an amazing job. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Question of the show, where are you watching this from? We always like to see where our audience is watching these videos from, and engage with you in the comments below this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.